Right. Behind the curtain, potentially.
Potentially behind the curtain.
Well, that's how it works. We have to wait.
That's my name on Twitter. Potentially behind the curtain.
Yeah, that's our film called that. What are you watching on the telly?
We started watching. Oh fuck! Something about Australian.
We just finished that Stay Close.
Do you like it?
Oh, it was superb. We just finished it.
Yeah, I thought it was good. I have to. We got it the second from last episode because there's a slight give, which is fine because the writer can't just write you into a wall. But so yeah, that was good though. We started watching the Outback. Is it called? It's a guy, the bloke from the Gillian Anderson Stalker thing.
Yeah.
And he wakes. What's it called? Yeah, an iPad. But he wakes up in the middle of nowhere and doesn't know his name.
Right, based on a true.
No, I think so.
All right.
I don't know anyone who's got selective amnesia. Because he remembers how to go for a piss, but doesn't remember his name.
All right.
It's that guy. I've only watched a bit. I literally watched an hour before we got on, and I've been rewatching Poirot. Still loving it.
Oh yeah.
I like the jokes. They make me laugh because I'm a 70-year-old man.
See that he messed up. He meant to say a stitch in time saved 9, but he said a stitch in damn. I said 7. It's very funny.
That's basically the level of humour from Poirot.
Yeah. What is it?
He does it really well.
There's something that I've been watching where they get words wrong on purpose, and it was funny.
I don't know why. It's just quite fucking stupid but funny.
Right. They say they can hear us.
That's good.
I'll roll the intro.
They'll probably just go, we'll have it as a radio.
Yay! Welcome to the Ohm Show, episode 86. Happy New Year, 2022.
Happy New Year.
You've got the t-shirt on, I've just noticed.
I got the t-shirt on.
Fantastic. Welcome, Happy New Year. It's just me and John this evening, but to make up for that, we have a jam-packed schedule of things to talk about. Welcome to everyone in chat. Russell, Andy, Johan.
There's loads of Mark Jackson, Tony Parkinson, Gareth Martin, Mark
Horsey,
Russell Blair,
Scotty, Adams of the Dean.
They've got ants in my eyes is here. Bang, laughing.
Apex Predator back in the house.
This is still a great name.
So good.
Still good.
Yeah, it is good. So we've got loads to cover, and so we will get on with it.
Yes.
Yes, and yeah, no guest this week, but we'll see how it goes. We're not gonna confine ourselves to definitely having a guest every week because it's sometimes a pain in the arse. Both having the guest on and getting a guest, both can be torturous. So
I think they could name them.
We'll see.
Yeah.
So we'll see about that. So welcome, smash that like button and strap in. John, what are you drinking and vaping this evening?
Gone with a classic because, like the old man I am, we were at the shop today and I had to send my wife in for some beers. She said, if they haven't got that, what should I get? Weirdly, no vocation in Sainsbury's. I don't understand what that's about.
Is it just because of the new branding? You couldn't find it?
No, they don't have it.
Oh, that is weird.
Ghost shit. I didn't want it to be really confusing and say get any IPA that's like whatever. I just went pack a Ghost ship will do. So I've got 4 Ghost ship and still a couple of Christmas. Bang! Life and death.
Yeah, I was going to say, don't you have any Christmas beers hanging over?
Yeah, I do. I've still got Christmas wine is the thing in our house. There is shit of wine. People just bought us wine, which is quite. I like gifts like that. Not really.
Yeah.
I'm not a fan of the voucher.
I like gifts. I'm not a fan of the voucher. It's a bit thoughtless.
It's the money you can only spend in one place.
Yeah. Not a huge fan of the voucher. Although I like presents that save me money in the long term.
Okay.
So if you buy me beer, you save me money. If you buy me wine, you save me money.
Most of the time. If you buy me beer, you fill up the cupboard a bit because I won't use it. If
you buy me an air fryer, I wouldn't have bought that, so you didn't save me any money.
That's one thing we agree on with cooking. I don't get it at all. All it is
The
a
air
heat gun
fryer.
upside down. It's pointless. I don't get it at all.
We did have one when the fad
Kicked off.
second wave of the fad. I think I would say it's not currently a fad, is it?
It is, yeah. It's still a bit...
or maybe it's on its third wave then. But
Social
yeah,
media
maybe 5
fad.
years ago we had one.
Oh, no. Yeah, it kicked off again. Amazon
And-
fucked up. They went out for 20p or something.
Basically, our experience with the air fryer was that you could do frozen onion rings, and they were pretty good, but you couldn't do frozen chips. They were shite.
Everyone says the chips are amazing.
Yeah, and then
Living the dream.
if you want to do something really good, you have to put in a lot of effort. So, if you want to do like a really nice southern fried chicken or something, you've still got to prep the chicken, season it all how you'd want to do it anyway. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And the air fryer was supposed to me, it was sort of, I thought, it might have a convenient way of doing something good. And it was just as inconvenient as proper cooking. So, apart from the occasional frozen onion rings, it slowly worked its way into the back of the cupboard and died. So yeah, that was our experience.
That's the worst. When something gets in the cupboard, it's fucked. Like
the spiralizer.
Yeah, one of them. What are those things that shred everything? Like julienne.
Yeah.
Salad chopper. It's going in the cupboard. Just leave it in the shop because you don't fucking need it. You're never going to use it. It's going to piss you off.
Your backup set of egg cups.
We use shot glasses because they're both they're dual.
Yeah. When Molly went through a phase of hard-boiled eggs, I used a shot glass because it was easier for her to get at it.
It's just I just think you've got a shot glass. You can use it when you're doing shots on your own in the kitchen on the floor, and you can do it. It's a Homer Simpson shot glass that I was given for Christmas in about 2001. I broke the other three. It was a set of 4. Classic Christmas gift, and I use it as an egg cup for one sad, lonely egg.
Yeah.
So I'm drinking Ghost Ship. I have a grape elf bar. I'm having a problem with it, so I don't really know what to do about it. Should I do?
What's the problem?
It's sticking. It's sticking.
Sticking?
It's sticking open. It's got a sticky auto switch. Yeah, look. That'll fix it.
What made you drop it?
I think I just bit the tip of it out of my hand and went on the floor. Anyway, that.
Well, as long as it's not still auto firing.
Hold on.
Yeah.
No, we're right. No, it's all fine.
I don't know. I don't know what you're going to do about that. I've never heard of that before.
Me either. And I've got. This has got no auto firing problems.
How about a really strong blow into it, just in case there's anything?
I did do that before we started. I gripped it like that. This got an auto switch with no problem. The Surin Air mod. Weird. It's a special flavour.
Fuck Boris.
It's not. It's just I printed out a Fuck Boris label and put it on there. It is a special flavour. I really, really like this. I'm thinking about putting it on the website. I was going to say, because there's only the 2 of us here tonight and it's New Year's, I thought I'd give people 20% off. That's nice.
You should give people 22.
22. That's a good idea. I'll give you 22% off until midnight.
And you've got that new flavour in.
Exactamundo. We do.
Ooh.
We've got the hazelnut. Well, it's basically.
What have you done it site wide? Are we talking about a discount code?
Yeah, it's gonna be a discount code. But what are you vaping and what are you drinking? And I'll do that.
It's got to be fuck Boris, hasn't it?
Fook, I think I might go with that. No, I don't want to get in trouble. Oh, maybe.
So you're drinking one vocation?
I've got 2 vocations and I got 4 cans of Ghost Ship. I don't want to go back in the house, so that's what's happening.
All right. I am vaping on the K-Fun on the Riva, that Evolve Smovesto combination, with some salty custard.
So, what is it? Salty custard?
It's just a generic custard, but happens to be a Nick salt.
Oh, sorry. I thought you meant it was literally salty.
But it does. It isn't salty, but it has a different flavour for the fact it's the Nick salt, in my opinion.
Does it? That's just shit.
Yeah,
That's just city shit.
Because I've had the freebase version.
Oh, okay. That's a fair comparison. I was going to say it, but decent Nick salt doesn't taste anything to them.
Yes. So there is that custard in the cave one, and then I made another juice myself. Do you remember when I made that strawberry?
Yeah.
And its flavour profile was strawberry. Well, I've added to that recipe. I've added some.
Are you playing fast and loose with the word recipe?
Well, wait, you decide. I've added a dash. I've taken that original strawberry, and I've added a dash of what can only be described as cake,
Okay.
and a dash of icing.
Okay. That's quite hard to get the layers on that, I will say.
I'm not getting very much icing, but I'm getting a bit of cakey strawberryness. It's sort of gone from being just strawberry to off strawberry. It's all right. It's fine. It's just juice, and that's in the rabbit on the gua.
Rabbit on the gua.
Yeah, so that's
good.
now drinking. Funnily enough, I do have one of these next.
What's this? What's this? I can't see now.
Ghost Ship.
Oh, Ghost Ship. It's good.
Bottle of.
Why did it taste better off the pump? Because I had a pint with my lunch today. And it did taste better off the pump.
It tastes good all the ways, but they always taste different, don't they? And then a local delicacy, a Yorkshire Blonde from Ossett. That's what I'm currently drinking.
Is that where you were? Is that the brewery you went to?
No, but this is a precursor to all of those. This is a very popular. It is available in supermarkets, etc.
Yeah, I was going to say. I think I might have had it. I wouldn't have had the blonde because I'm not a blonde.
No, there's other ones. I'll double check which one you'd have had. But they do some lovely everythings. They're very popular nowadays, but they're from my neck of the woods. And then I'll be finishing the evening with a Vocation Special Edition.
Oh, I have had that. I had that at Christmas.
Yeah,
It's nice.
there you are. Summer Somewhere Pale Ale.
I like
so that's
the.
quite
I like
a posh one.
that. That's one of those, and it's good because you've got a fridge temperature now.
Yeah.
Yeah, you get it just slightly off fridge, and then you taste it. Don't know why. That's why I had it with the show the other week.
It's very cold at the moment. So
Yeah.
by the time I get there,
Couple of degrees, banging.
yeah, so that is that. The real world news, John.
Yes.
One thing that caught our eye earlier in the week, the furore around Tony Blair getting the old knighthood.
Yes, I did sign the petition.
You signed the thing to get he shouldn't have it or something.
Yeah, I did. I'm not really a Tony.
You know, it was
Blair fan.
literally appointed by the Queen.
Yeah, and he can't reverse it. Yeah, absolutely no. That's not the fun of it. I just want Sherry to be telling him the figures. Tony, did you know 700,000 people think you're a cunt? And they know that this petition won't do anything, so they're literally taking 5 minutes just to call you a cunt. I quite like that.
Do you think someone like him would just spin it in his own brain to, 60 million people didn't?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's sort of got no power, but...
I said to you that I'm cool with it. However, at the time I said that, I didn't realise he's actually been given a place on the charter, hasn't he?
Yes.
It's the top one. It's
Yeah. He was
top 24.
the garter, wasn't he?
Yeah. And I don't agree with that. He definitely shouldn't have been put into that. However, I don't have a problem with getting that.
There was a suspicion that it was done on purpose to see how far you could push it.
Well, at least there till he dies now.
Well, that's the suspicion, to see if
So
you can then say anyway. once you've got Tony Blair's in, what the fuck? But there's many.
They're planning 20 years ahead for when they think about putting Boris in.
Yeah, if you ignore, because I said to you in private conversation, I said to you, even if you ignore Iraq and Afghanistan, which I don't know. Yeah, maybe I don't know if you any friends in the armed forces, but like my friends who were in the armed forces all went to Iraq. Sorry, I'm doing that thing. I was thinking everyone's going to start mispronouncing it again because they've been doing it for days. People are quite annoyed that Tony Blair's was wrong, people are quite an entertaining player because he had illegal wars with Iraq. Where's that? It's Iraq, definitely, and
It's Iraq.
and Afghanistan. No, it's that's wrong as well. It's just all pissing me off. But even if you ignore that, he doubled down on the property thing that Maggie kind of started, which was like this fucking nutcase.
Well, he's a big fan of Maggie, wasn't he?
Yeah, this nutbag thing of it's such a brilliant investment. It clearly isn't. But if you tell everyone it is, then it does to everybody. You know, you can kind of underpin a credit economy with it, which is what he did. And that's why...
If you're playing that game, though, you could also infer that he saved British democracy by reintroducing an actual opposition to the government.
Yeah, well, at the time
they'd slipped to such a point.
It was so bad. But if you looked at John, like, I'm not being silly. If you
our system does fall apart if there's no opposition.
John Major's cabinet was ripping itself to pieces at the time. I don't get extra totally boring. I actually really like John Major. I think he's a decent person. But his cabinet was tearing itself apart behind him because he'd got Maggie's foot soldiers, and he was more of a moderate, and everyone was just fucking going for each other. And so, you know, things can only get better, etc., etc. I remember getting offered in 1997 when he was the Prime Minister. I remember being offered a modern apprenticeship in something shit like data entry, and it was 40 hours a week for 35 quid. And I threw my NRA in the bin as I left. Like I'd rather just kill myself and earn 5 times that, you know, because I'm 16, 17, than take the 35 quid, which is what I did. Just thought I'd rather just work 70 hours a week. And I did that.
I don't love him getting that. However, I do kind of agree. He kind of has to have one. There is a precedent.
There is, yeah.
Of long-standing prime ministers getting it.
Yeah.
But I don't think he should have been put on that Garter thing. That's crazy.
The problem is, had he not been put on that, it had to have been...
That would have been the news story then.
Well, it had to have been suggested by the government then, because those are protected and nothing you can do about it.
Yeah.
So had he done that, it would have had to been... Then this petition would have got anything to it. You know?
So it's a funny one. I'm not super arsed though. I don't let these sort of things bother me.
No, I don't care. I'm never going to call him that anyway, so I don't give a shit.
Yeah.
But I don't believe... Most people don't deserve it. On the Queen's honest list, most of the time I don't go, oh, good. Most of the time I do think, okay. I don't give a shit.
The other news thing, I suppose it's got to be Corona. It's I think let's always play this game of what the next story is. I think the next story is just inevitably the NHS staff being ill all the time.
Well, they're insane, aren't they? I mean, I only found out today my step uncle was on a gurney thing in an A&E for 40 hours at the weekend with a suspected kidney infection. I don't know him very well or anything, but I talked to my mum, and he got taken in by ambulance, and he just sat in A&E on a gurney for 40 hours.
That's going to be the story, isn't it? Staff shortages.
Well, it's going to kill people, even if it's going to be there's a knock on where you could die from any old shit. Then
you've got to remember that Wave 1 testing wasn't in its full spin, was it? You see, so there were a lot of nurses with COVID just cracking.
Yeah, just cracking up. Yeah, 95% of people in my wife's
as many as that infected, it kept the NHS going as well. So
yeah.
This time around, you can test and stuff. So that's going to be the story, isn't it? Irrespective of death rate, infection rate, if literally half of your nurses are off,
you can't do. Well, it's a joke. But Scotty will understand this. Scotty Bogfoot's in chat. I can see that he lives in remote Newfoundland, and I have to. I'm not that far. It's about a 45-minute round journey with an ambulance to the house. So when you're using a chainsaw, you have to really think about it.
Yeah.
Like, because...
Well, I told you to really think about it anyway.
You're going to die. Like, if this goes wrong, you're fucking dead. There's no bit. You're fucking dead. Even scrambling a helicopter be like, I don't know, probably 45 minutes would make any difference. So, yeah, you've really got to double think anything. Oh, it's all right. I got a circular saw coming tomorrow, so... But that's safer. That's loads safer.
Yeah. Yeah, so I don't know. I guess is that the big? I suppose just inevitably. I don't know. What's your take on current Corona situation?
Well, I think what's really pissed me off is nothing to do with taking it seriously or not taking it seriously. What has amazed me throughout has been, I don't think, sorry, word problem at the moment. Existential maths is that difficult once someone's explained it to you. I think it's quite simple. And they're making the same errors in the figures that they were last April. And I think that's embarrassing. They're talking about hospital admissions and saying, oh, well, we're so far away from last January. And you're like, no. You're 6 days, you fucking idiot.
I thought it was very poor that over the last few days, some cabinet ministers have intimated that we might be through the wave, the worst of the wave, yeah. Just because the numbers were lagging.
They pulled it today, though. All the papers, well, they pulled it. The Evening Standard, they said that the London wave had nearly definitely had peaked, and they said it clearly hadn't, and there was a little bit of an ebb.
I think that's not the issue. I don't think the maths is the issue, though. I think how much weight they give the infection rate is what's causing them the problem.
Yeah.
They can't decide how much to care about the infection rate because of the perceived mildness of it.
We still don't know shit, do we? Now
if we were dealing with the exact same variant as first time round, we'd be able to do that math, wouldn't we, and go, right.
Deaths is up 42% in 7 days. So we're really looking at the end of this week and then really start to see it climbing next week.
What's the deaths at right
Omicron,
now?
364 today.
364 deaths today?
Yeah.
Fucking hell. In the UK?
Yeah.
I mean...
And that's not lagging. That's correct. The deaths are right. 334 for anybody correct. 334.
It's the same. It's the same metric as day one. If we get to 500 deaths, we'll lock down.
Yeah, I just think that you know and I know that because you understand exponential math, it isn't that far. 334 to 500 is a nothing step. But they're not. They're saying
it could be Sunday or Monday. Well, Monday probably.
But they're saying, oh, look at that, it's fine. That's at least 6 weeks away. What are you fucking talking about? Doesn't make any sense. Hello, Derry.
So that is the new.
Only last COVID thing. You've got the Australian tennis thing. I don't watch tennis, so I don't bloody know. Yeah, who's sort of trapped in quarantine in Australia because nobody knows his vaccine status, and he's said in the past that he doesn't believe people should be forced to have a vaccine. It was forced to be a tennis player, you bell beats.
I saw a news story about 6 weeks ago from his dad saying he had it.
Right.
Now, but there's an issue there, though. If that was his dad saying he'd had one jab...
Right.
That's not going to cut it either, is it?
No.
What would happen if a normal person got off a plane in Australia and said, I'm unvaccinated?
They said you the fuck... Yeah, they've done it. They've sent people the fuck out.
Is this what they would do anyway?
Yeah.
Exactly what they've done to him.
They'd put you in quarantine, and then they'd find your flight and fuck you off. He's been there longer than a normal person would. You'd have been fucked off, gone.
Right.
They just don't take it at all. Especially, I
honestly think that's arrogance on his part.
Yeah. I'm not a world-class tennis player, so it's hard.
He thought they'd bend it.
Yeah.
Or, I don't know, it's weird, I don't know. But, yeah, there's a lot of elite sports people that haven't had it, but a lot of the tennis people were told 7 months ago this is how it'd be with the Australian Open and sorted them.
A lot of football has been kicked in the arse just for Christmas, weren't they? With you are going to get fucked. And I think it's because a lot of people draw a comparison between NHS workers and footballers. I don't. People on Facebook do. And they're like, if they got to have it, you got to have it. I remember when a friend of mine said to me...
Yeah, if Shelley had a better first touch, then...
Yeah, so my friend said to me, do you know how much footballers get paid? I said, no. He said, NHS nurses, 18,000. Footballer, 350 grand. I said, yeah, but no one's going to sponsor Sally to do it. And I can't go in. Have we got Sally yet? No, she won't do it. She won't wear the shirt. Fuck it then. Just forget it. Curating. Yeah. It's fucking ridiculous. It's no comparison.
It'll be the tennis will be more fun without him because if he was in it, he'd win it. So
take out your best player. Yeah, it makes it interesting.
It's a one-horse race, isn't it?
I don't even know. Have we got a player? It's Andy Murray's.
Murray's in it.
He's in it.
Murray's in it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That might win then.
And we got Cameron Norrie. We got Dan Evans.
Take it.
So we'll have some interest until the second week.
How good would it be? Vaccinated wins. Bag. So we do a bit
The winner will be vaccinated.
when they get the cup.
Yeah.
You've won. Dickhead.
They could wait till he falls asleep in his quarantine hotel and jab him.
An American teacher got arrested for that yesterday for jabbing one of her students.
She probably just really cared about her.
They've been arrested.
Unless it's a Harold Shitmom situation.
It could have been. Well, that one keeps in the shed.
Right, actual fake news. We're
going to go Irish Times just because they've got this really weird slant on something.
Yeah.
And I just wondered where my search was hitting in the article to make any sense. So, the Irish Times, the headline reads, "For 20 years, teenage smoking fell steadily in Ireland. Then along came vaping, and it all changed." And I thought, what are you doing it wrong? What are you on about? Have a look. They had a quick chat with Shannon Darcy, 20, from Palmerstown, County Dublin. She started smoking when she was 17. I was with my friends, and I just said, "I'll have one." And it went on from there. She was standing with some other smokers on St Andrew Street in Dublin city centre. School might have been a contributory factor in her developing a nicotine addiction. She says, "I started stress smoking." I really like the idea of 17-year-old stress smoking. If I'm so stressed, you wait. You are.
Harry Styles has cut his hair.
You're in neutral gear. These shoes do not go with these trousers. You don't worry. There is worse shit coming. I started stress smoking. We'd go out for a break from school and have a smoke. Then I started working to get my own money and buying my own smokes. They didn't come free at school. And it got even worse from then.
That's a shit school.
She smokes about 20 a day. This is Shannon. She started smoking when she was 17. She's now 20. She's on them. She's still going. She must be rich. Anyway. Then I still like, where's the vaping connection? I don't understand this still. One of the largest drop-offs in teenage smoking in 1995 to 2015. That's a really weird, just note the odd bracketing of that. That's a fucking big bit. Anyway, and it's one of the largest drops was in the years preceding the 2004 ban on smoking in the workplace. A measure that, by definition, did not directly affect young people. That's true. It was an unintended consequence, said Professor Luke Clancy, a consultant respiratory physician and founder of Tobacco Free Research Institute Ireland. No, not a psychiatrist. By and large, if you want to get children not to start smoking, initiatives aimed at them alone are not really that successful. Again, based on basically nothing. The reasons for this are complex and made up, but they do include the fact that teenagers want to be grown-ups. No, they want to smoke cigarettes. That isn't the same thing. The widespread, and there it goes.
Well, they want to do what they think they're not allowed to do.
Yeah, but that's not wanting to be an adult. That isn't the same thing.
No, they don't want to read the Racing Post on a park bench and then wait for the pub to open and then get
some NHS reading glasses and a proper sensible coat. No, they're not doing that. But anyway, the overall smoking rate in Ireland is 18%, according to the Healthy Ireland Survey 2021. The 2019 SPAD survey found the rate was 14% for those among 15 to 16. Ireland has a strategy of trying to reduce smoking prevalence overall to 5% by 2025. And up to 2019, that looked possible. Nothing has happened in vaping apart from it's become more. There's more rules around it since 2019. And it had looked possible. They achieved this for teenagers, though not for older smokers. That percentage gets better every year because they tend to stop smoking before they're 80. Mainly because they're fucking dead.
Yeah.
In a recent paper called Increased Smoking and E-Cigarette Use Among Irish Teenagers. Whoa.
They're just lumping it together, basically.
Literally sticking it together.
If you're a vapor, you've not quit smoking.
You're not, yeah. You fall into the not tobacco free. You are.
Yeah. You can do that if you want with numbers.
They don't realise that they added the fucking problem. They added the fucking problem in 2019 by moving vapors from not smoking to smoking, increasing their own fucking percentage and then going, that's fucking gone up.
Yeah.
That is mental. John,
That's pretty,
John, have you been throwing pears in the garden? Yeah, I do one every hour. Fuck me, look at that. There's loads of pears in the garden. You keep doing it. What has it got to do with me? I throw pears.
Can anyone get me those Apple figures, please? Oh, yeah, here they are. 1 million apples. 1 million, that's twice what it was last time. Yeah, I've counted pears as well.
Who told you to do that? They were reclassified earlier today. Apples are now pears, oranges are peaches. What?
Apple ownership is up by 50%.
It's the weirdest thing to fuck up your own statistics and then whine about it. I was reading because I was just scanning this going, where the fuck does vaping come into this? This is mental. The paper analysed how e-cigarette use had increased significantly in the 4 years up to 2019. That I could agree with, but that doesn't make any sense. With the percentage of those who had never used an addictive nicotine product going from 23% to 37%, because you changed the fucking classification. It doubled because it didn't make any difference. You no longer counted them as stopping. Fuck my ass. It's the weirdest fucking thing.
Yeah, that's what. I mean, they seem to have done it by accident, but that's basically what American.
So weird.
Propaganda machine.
We have a lovely Irishman in chat, Derry, who says, "Yeah, I was at the last. When I was last at the doctor's, I was asked if I smoked, and I said no, I vape, and they ticked me as a smoker, and I lost it. With my insurance company, I'm down as a vapor. With my doctor, they go, do you smoke? No, I don't get into it. It's absolutely stupid. That's mental.
Yeah. Some life insurance have changed now, so you can put. You use nicotine.
Mine is that I'm a smoker who smokes 0 cigarettes.
Yeah.
So I don't smoke. It says smoker, but it does say that I smoke 0 cigarettes per day, because it has to be there so that my wife gets to the house when she eventually kills me. But I'm not. If the doctor, it's so ridiculous. I changed my medication last week due to the side effects. And they said, I was on the phone. Yeah, I'll change it. Are you a smoker? Oh, fuck, I didn't do it. But you want to go, fuck has that got to do with it? Yeah.
I was upset you haven't done the Irish accent yet.
Do the accent. To find that the only group that were likely to meet the target, they were not going to meet it either. It's very disappointing, said Clancy. There you go, Russell.
That was specifically your Neil Kinnock.
I'm sorry. The only one word I can say, 2 words I can say in Northern Irish is Jerry Adams, because he heard it so much when I was a kid. Yeah, Jerry Adams. That's it. That's all I can do. It's your reset. Just go Jerry Adams.
Before we tackle the next news story, we were going to talk about something that came from the group today. We're going to talk about Nick salts.
Yes.
And you're a bit of an expert in this field, but we did a poll, and we'll come back to that. I put this on today because I think I've given up my adventure with Nick salts, to be honest. Mm-hmm. Now, they are good. Like, if you get in disposable, if you're a smoker, converting, etc., they're really handy. They're really good, and it totally works. And I don't have a problem with them as such. But I think because like I said, I got three bottles of Nick salt. I got 3 bottles of 10 mg Nick salt custard, and I got 3 bottles of 12 mg freebase custard, the exact same brand, the exact same flavour. And they're just for whatever reason, the freebase is just more enjoyable.
What do you taste in the freebase? Because I've got a feeling I've got
the Nick salt one. Yeah, the Nick salt one gives me a little breathlessness type thing.
Some people do find that.
But I'm not like sore throat, or not coffee or anything like that. No. It just seems to have a different effect on me.
Do you take it in differently? Because that's stupid. But with the Nick salt, you kind of pause.
Not consciously.
Yeah, I tried because I do it consciously. You have to pause. It's inhale, pause, then exhale. One. The other thing is, I think the flavour you're getting, I think you like the flavour of base.
Yeah, I think it's just part of.
I think there's
so
a
many,
there's
so
a
many years before I even.
there's like an
dabbled.
umami kind of thing going on with vapes that you don't get with Nic Salt ever. Like, not really, and it depends. If it's suspended in VG, it's sweet. Not.
I also think some of these companies have tested to the nth degree their flavour with freebase.
Agreed.
And I just think they've chucked Nic Salt instead for the Nic Salt line of the same thing.
And I don't think 10. I just think 10 mg. Honestly, I don't see that's got a place in anything because it's not going to reduce what you're doing, which is what the point is. Well, it is. It was, but it got taken up by wankers who just want to call it what you just said. Just call it their Nic Salt line, which isn't the same thing. I can see Flitzy is in chat.
Happy New Year, Flitzy.
Happy New Year, Flitzy.
Yeah. So Nick, I've reached the end of the road, and I just wondered what everyone else, where everyone else at was with.
If you didn't answer in the
Nic Salt.
chat, do stick it. Sorry, if you didn't answer in the group, do stick it in the chat. As well.
Yeah, stick it in chat now. I just put Nic Salt ? No and yes, and that led to a bit of confusion. And so I clarified in the comments that if you sometimes use Nic Salt, sometimes use freebase, then it's yes.
Yeah.
Because that means you are a Nic Salt user.
Yeah.
And no, if you are not a Nic Salt user. So, and then there was people saying they've never tried Nic Salt. Well, that is a no. You're not a Nic Salt user.
Right. Okay.
So it
I
wasn't
was just being a bit of a sarky penis because I was
a
like,
good poll.
I don't
But
care.
I think you were slightly in defence of Nic Salts.
on the same, because I didn't understand the question initially, and I just thought you meant is it good or not, and then I don't care if I rang you and
because
I said
you get people commenting.
I want to book a table
It's
at this
rubbish. I've never tried
fish
it.
restaurant. I want to book a table at this fish restaurant. Should I book it? And you go, I've never fucking been. I wouldn't go, well, I'm not fucking going either. It doesn't make any sense. It's just a
Yeah,
fucking
it's rubbish.
shit.
I've not tried it. That doesn't work. That doesn't work. You are a no in this poll, but that doesn't. You cannot condemn Nic Salts if you've not tried it.
Yeah, that was my issue.
So I just wanted to know actual how many people use it. I think that's not surprisingly high, but a reassuringly high amount. Half. I would say half of the people there conducted 38, 71. Half do have it as part of their vaping diet.
Yeah.
So it has found its way into people's things. There are a lot of people that. I think Rick commented. Maybe I can pull it.
Why
up.
bother? Was what he said.
No. Rick was his thing was sort of that personal thing of something about it triggered him a bit. You know, he got that sort of tickliness from it or whatever. Brilliant, Rick. Oh, I can't. Oh, I think. Oh, yeah. Yeah, he's tried Nic Salts. It gives him a tight chest, and that's some sort of reaction to whatever brand of catalyst that.
It could be anything because it's not nailed down.
Because you do have to trial and error. You should probably explain, John, now at this point, about this whole thing about these good salt nic, bad salt nic. There's loads of different catalysts.
They're so, but then in the same regard, I will say exactly what it is. Well, I'll explain some of the things. Firstly, though, in both freebase and Nic Salt, there's good Nic and bad Nic. And the other thing is, you might be one of those people who can't taste the difference, right? So it doesn't make any that I totally agree with, because somebody said to me, "You've got to try this liquid," and I've tasted it, and the only thing I can taste is their freebase, which has a taste of like
peppery,
shitty shirts. Yeah, it smells right.
I've had one sent to
Peppery
me,
Nic.
all I get in is the peppery.
Yeah, some people cannot taste that at all. They just don't have that bit. So that's fine. So that's one thing to say, and that can happen across the board. Doesn't matter what it is. And then we got this thing, which is the catalyst, which is flavourless within the juice. Firstly, to say all nicotines are a salt. That is what they chemically are. So we're just using salt. It's just the catch. We just use it.
Vaping vernacular.
Vaping vernacular. It doesn't mean shit. So please, when people say they can't taste the salt, they really go, fuck me. There's none in it. Nicotine is chemically a salt. Freebase nicotine is freely absorbed, but salt nic, because that's what we're going to call it, isn't until you add a catalyst to it. And the most popular catalyst is benzoic acid, which is on its own inert, and it's in lots of other things. What it does is it sort of reduces or makes your body able to take the nicotine out of the vapor that you've inhaled into your mucous membrane, back of your throat. And so when it goes, that's why. But you have to pause Otherwise, you don't get the hit. You can take a massive long hit from 16 milligram nicks up, blow it straight out, and you won't even get any nick. If you pause, you feel it go click and hit you like a fag does. Cigarette, if you're American. I'm not talking about homosexual fights. You take a drag, pause.
They're coming up later.
Yeah, we're doing that's the next section, and then you blow it out. People are sensitive to lots of things they don't know they are because it's never come up. Benzodiac acid is massive in creams and formulas and skin care and stuff.
Yeah.
It's in a lot of different skin cares.
Also, like you have always said, and we're not necessarily against the rule, but the 20 mg limit really hits the Nick Salt thing.
It really does, because then it makes it trendy. Like you're only really using it for being quite cool. I really think those higher Nick Salts come into their own when it comes to disposables and pod systems and stuff like that. You can really reduce how much nicotine you consume. So I could vape 2 mil a day, and someone else is vaping 30 mil a day of like 3 milligram, and we actually vaping the same thing. Though mine's 50. It's just not. I don't vape that much because I get the hit quicker.
Yeah, in this country we lose one of the main advantages of Nick Salts.
Save money. Which is what they do to you.
Yeah. So yeah, that was interesting. Actually,
do you do that? I don't know if you do that. Do you count drags? Because I kind of half do.
I don't count drags, but I am aware of my milliliter usage.
Right. If I pick it up, I kind of go like 6 hits and then put it down again.
Right.
Or I might do 12 or whatever. And it kind of depends how the draw is on the device or how much nick is in there. Depends what I know I'm going to do. If that makes any sense.
Okay.
So when people, because I don't believe in the step down program thing, I just don't think it does anything. It's really weird. I think if you go from 12 to 6, I think you're very likely to double your nicotine your liquid consumption.
Yeah, it's a hobby. It's a hobbyist fan.
Absolutely, yeah. But I always get really worried because I have customers come in, and there's a lot of pressure in the background when the people are reading about it in the press about step down, and they feel that they've failed to give up smoking, even though they don't fucking smoke, because after 6 months they're still at 12 milligram. Do what you want.
Yeah.
That's fine. It's like silk cut. I remember when I used to have friends who smoked silk cut. Why are you smoking that?
Yeah, it's this but there's an inbuilt psyche already for a smoker that every time they take a drag of a cigarette, it's naughty.
Yeah, it's guilty.
And then when they transfer to vaping, because it's so similar, that's the whole point. It satiates the same thing. You have the same mentality. It's just inbuilt to you that I'll just have a couple of drags because this is naughty, even though it's not anymore. So it's a thing. But I thought that was interesting. If we'd have done that poll 2 years ago, they wouldn't have been half of the people.
And not only that, I think there'd have
Nick as
I think there'd have been loads more confusion across it, because in the chat even now, people are saying things that make perfect sense. David Childs, he vapes 20 milligram in a mini can pod system.
And he has said that some give him hiccups, but he's experimented enough to find ones that don't cause them.
Rufus Cane, I get breathless, but I still use them. I still use them occasionally, though.
I've heard people talk about heartburn as well. But back in the day, I used to hear people talk about that on forums anyway.
PG is a tosser for that.
Yeah.
If you're slightly sensitive, you can get it. Dean Adams said pistache in a short fill directly from Toby is a subsalt, which can be a bit harsh, because Toby uses different diluting agents, because he has ones in Canada and I have ones here. And
actually, that's a point. I think it might have been Toby that said, or someone said they're hybriding.
It wasn't Toby.
It was a different Toby.
Different Toby.
But they said they were hybriding juice with a bit of both.
Yeah, you get a hit and then you'd get another hit later.
So is this a thing now?
I'd never heard of that because I've never done it. Rufus Cane says sneezing. See that again? That you can get sneezing
That's
from
just
PG.
Nick, yeah.
You can get. I used to get really. It feels like you got an itchy tongue with any PG over, because people don't even do it anymore. PG over 60%.
Yeah.
Used to fuck me up, and I didn't realise. Though I still stopped smoking with it, I was still like, it's worth the pain. Like, so I'm not dying. But
yeah,
when
back in the day, a lot of people were 70 PG, 80 PG in the ratio, and that's when you used to get the same comments. People going heartburn, people going sneezing.
I remember when it came down, when it was high VG, it was 50-50. This is madness, and I got a 50-50. I remember thinking, fuck me, this doesn't hurt anymore. Like I'm not getting any problems at all. And then from then on, I just dumped off PG completely.
Yeah, so I don't know about the hybrid thing. I genuinely don't know about the hybrid thing. If anyone wants to illuminate us in chat. And I don't know if it's a trend or just he's taken to doing it, or if it's going to.
Yeah, I'd have heard if anybody else is doing hybrid. I mean, that is complex mixing as well.
Yeah,
because you want to get different, six in one, 6 in the other.
See if I've still got it up. Quicker hit, still get a kick. Oh, so he wants the throat hit for freebase, but he wants the strength of the assault.
Yeah, it's quite good.
It's an interesting idea.
People with histamine issues will notice issues with benzoic acid and PG swirly mode.
It's potentially true.
Yeah. Well, I do a bit. That's true actually. If I get an insect bite or something like that, I'm a twat. If I go fishing, if I get finned in the hand or tail or whatever, and they've got spikes on, especially bass, I get one hand bigger than the other for a week. It's great.
Oh, okay, that's great.
It's all right because I generally do it on this hand. I don't wear a wedding ring. You don't want to go fucking hell. Got to get me a ring.
Best week of your life. Yeah. So next actual news story.
John. Oh, okay. Mark Hall says Right Squad do an actual. They sell a hybrid.
Oh wow, it's a thing then. Okay, cool. I'm going to look into that.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Actual story. My last attempt.
Actual story from the Mirror. Oh, this is really weird. This is a bit of a chuckaway story. I didn't even know why it got mentioned, but it was quite weird. The Mirror, party plane full of maskless influencers who neck booze and vape amid COVID surge. This is straight out of Canada. An investigation has been launched after maskless influencers filmed themselves partying on a flight to Cancun, drinking expensive booze and vaping. The shocking clips of the passengers partying on the Sunwing flight from Montreal were shared online as Canada faces surges in COVID-19. The influencers seen. I think they took the whole plane though. I think they were they were every customer on the plane.
Yeah.
It's an amazing like if you want to fuck with an airline, everyone on there's in on it, you're fucked, aren't you?
Do you know there's twice as many YouTubers with over 100,000 subscribers in Canada than any other country?
Really?
Yeah. It's the home of successful YouTubers.
Oh, how weird.
It is insane. And it's funny because I just started to notice that a lot of the big sub people were Canadian. And then I saw a news article about it. Yeah, they just have this... I think there was I suppose there's a million reasons. But one of the reasons apparently was this. There was already an inherent hobbyist love, coolness to photography in Canada because it's such a beautiful place. So many people knew their way round a decent camera from day one.
Right.
Before YouTube was even a big thing, they were already very adept at the technical aspect of filming yourself in good quality.
I'm trying to think of a Canadian. Well, obviously.
Also, they've got the perfect lifestyle as well, haven't they? Because they can be on a snow jet ski thing 1 second, and then climb in and surf and windboard in the next. You know, there is an element of it's a bit idyllic, isn't it?
It is, yeah, and not only that, they're sort of freer than the US as well. They're an American,
friendlier, more pleasant.
But I mean,
of a more outdoor,
like legally freer than the US. I know they like to think they're free. They're not.
And like a lot of these free liberal sort of places like Canada, not a lot of proper jobs about. So you might as well be a YouTuber.
Well, I don't know. Toby is a real estate person, isn't he? That's what he really does.
Yeah, but he dabbles in vaping.
Yeah.
Same thing.
Scotty really. Bogfoot says National Film Board of Canada has ruined us all.
Yeah. So it's a thing. Canada's huge for it. I don't know what to make of this story, though.
It's such an odd thing to do. Do you know what, though? You'd think the airline had a way of working out that you... Because a friend of mine who used to work in border security, he said one of the biggest problems they've got I'll give you a fake
I
one.
mean, really, the headline is influencers break rules.
Well, the problem is that if you were coming from a bad place in life, you might use the information in that story to do something else. You could book a plane out. That's a really big problem if everyone on the fucking flight.
Yeah, but it's still obviously against the rules of the flight.
Oh, no. I totally agree with that. But if you were using it for, say, terrorists, that's a hell of a thing to say. You need, whatever many people, and you've got the whole flight. What I was going to say is my friend who works at border security, sometimes somebody will do something inadvertently, which is this is where it becomes a problem. They'll say, I went from blah, blah to blah, blah, and I was in departures and I realised I'd got my screwdriver on me. So what I did was I did this with it. And the problem is when they get home, they'll say to Jeff down the pub, you never get it. I had a screwdriver in my pocket and I thought, I'm going to get a load of shit for this. So I put it in and they didn't find it. And that's where things come from. It's sort of that one fact will leak really, really fast and move incredibly quickly and get into the wrong hands. There's a lie that you'll see. Do you ever watch that program where it's called, I can't remember what it's called now, fucking hell, import, export, whatever. It's like Australian, and they kind of take people off the plane and they check their bags and stuff. Me and my wife like to guess if they have got drugs or they haven't, and whoever wins has to make the cup of tea. They'll lose and make the cup of tea. One of the things they always find drugs wrapped in, is carbon paper. You know, carbon paper from the back of an old shipment.
Yeah.
And what that is that you get leaks that come from border security that go, you never guess what.
On an X-ray, it would show up. It's just a blob of nothing, wouldn't it?
But it doesn't. That's bollocks. But
was that what people thought?
Yeah, so that's why they wrapped it in carbon paper. So it becomes a lie that's released on purpose. I'm nearly sure.
Oh right.
So that people do it every time.
Right.
Because X-ray machines don't work like that anymore.
Interesting mindset as well, because the person looking at the X-ray machine is looking for anything suspicious, and anything that looks weird on his scan would count as that. So
it's even
you're kind of setting yourself up.
And it's changed so much in the last
if you want to
decade.
You're better off trying to blend in plain sight. Just try and get away.
Well, like airport security, one of the things now, because the machine doesn't give you a flat picture anymore. It gives them.
Apparently, it's called Border Patrol.
Border Patrol. That could be the one. They look. Actually, it shows you the depth of things within the bag in a different colour, and some people can't read the screens, but the people who can get the job, and you basically not a fucking chance. You are going to be fucking done. I always, because I'm a nervous flyer, I always look like I'm shitting myself in the queue, so I generally get a full body scan, which I totally agree with, because I would pull me out of the queue. I've got quite Arabic looking face, especially on my way home, and I look like I'm shitting myself, so they scan me. So I absolutely understand why I'm pulled out of the queue. I never get funny about it, because I think if that was me looking down the queue and I saw a sweaty guy with a big bag, and especially since I started vaping, you're holding all sorts of gadgets. Lots of times, I've been in different airports around the world and had to prove that it is by blowing vape out what it is.
Yeah. I think anything that's not an instantly recognisable electronic. If you think about a scan, it's coming through. iPad, phone, it's so obvious. The shape, the style, and then there's just this comes through.
That's why I've always been cracking down.
That's just a box of
whenever people that I've seen back in the day when we all started vaping. I remember in 2014 saying to them, no, don't hide it. Put it on the top, stick it here, put it in the bag. You're not doing anything illegal. Don't hide anything. It's fucking stupid. You can explain what it is. Yeah, that's a ridiculous thing to get into, to hiding stuff everywhere. Fucking yeah. Dried fishing newspaper. See, this is a person who's been watching Border Patrol. They often
do. If I'm taking a huge barrel of cocaine, I just put a bit of coffee beans on top.
Yeah, you can't see it.
Then the dogs just smell the coffee. If they open it up, they just see coffee. But if they'd have gone just that far down, all my cocaine.
Sometimes you get really good ones though with a dog, because the dogs are really highly trained, and they'll sit next to a bag that's got cocaine.
They can smell cancer.
But sometimes they won't. Sometimes they'll sit next to a bag of a woman who's got a roast chicken, because they're like, open the bag, Jeff, cocaine. And they go, Come on, mate, it's a fucking chicken.
No, it's not. Look in it. Open it. Put it on the floor. We need to check.
Put the chicken
And
back
don't forget, they're often already high.
Well, yeah. The
Because they've
dog.
accidentally
Give me
sniffed
it.
themselves. Yeah.
That's cocaine.
Yeah. They do. They accidentally get some sometimes.
I was watching. I did this as a bit of stand-up years ago. This guy, but I thought it was a funny joke. I still think it is. I was watching police camera action, and they were in this house, and they were looking for the drugs, and then one of them went, "No, we can't find it. You have to get the dog." And they got the dog in, and the dog handler comes in. The dog run around, they run up to the fridge, and it sat down. I opened the fridge. They pulled that tray. No one knows what it is. Underneath the ice box, there's that weird tray.
Yeah.
And there was a big block of weed in there, and he went, looks down the camera, and he went, "That's where it's been in the last 3 houses." First place I checked then, Jeff. What, are you scared the dog's going to be made redundant? Why are you getting the dog? Look in the fucking fridge.
He's playing up to telly, isn't he?
So weird. Get the dog. We'll never find it. Well, I mean, literally look where it was. Like, no. That's what you mean. Bless the dog. Oh, the other thing I thought would be quite good is if you made your entire carpet out of squeaky toys. When he went, "Yeah, go and get the dog." He just walked in the room, squeak.
Yeah.
And they're going, "Oh, you little bastards."
You can sometimes hide the drugs under a dead body because they're also trained to find those, aren't they?
That can work.
And the dog will just assume, "Oh, it's another dead body." But actually,
No, it's drugs.
that's what all your drugs.
Pepper works great on sniffer dogs, says Dean Adams. When I was coming back through Stansted, I had to be patted down. The look of terror on one of the woman's faces watching it happen. I think it might have been the tattoos and beard, says Derry. I think it was the accent.
You're a shifty-looking fella, Derry.
He's Irish.
And that's you're not even Irish.
Oh, no, he's not. Sorry, Derry, you're not. You haven't even got the accent. Your lovely wife has.
Yeah. No, yeah, I'd pat
like
you
that.
down. I'd pat you down, Derry.
I've had a few. They generally do that weird makeup wipe in my wife's bag and then put it in the sensor.
This is going to be hard for new viewers to understand, but we're now going to talk about off-topic things that are related to vaping.
Yeah, let's go.
Have you prepared a John and Ori?
I've got low. I got. It was being bollocks, wasn't it?
It basically, it's. Have you ever been told off? What's the story thus?
I have a great I've been told off story.
Okay.
I'm going to choose one that's less technical. One that's funnier, but it's not as technical. My wife, the lady, she wasn't my wife at the time. She used to pick me up sometimes after work. I used to finish about 4:00. This is back when I ran petrol stations. Mark, Todd, you love it. You might not be there. I'm going to talk to you if you are.
Someone timestamped this 10:00.
Right. She pulled up
to Mark if you missed it.
Pick me up at 4:00. She pulled up outside. I got in the car, shut the door, and she went, started the car, and we moved away, and she went, "Right, so, oh my God, what the fuck is that smell?" And I went, "Oh, it's me. I'll open the window." And she went, "What did you do?" And I went, "What?" And she went, "You smell like BO, like no one on this planet has ever smelled like BO. Why the fuck do you smell like BO?" And what it was, used to be a rule at BP that when you shut the safe, when you open the safe, you've got 4.5 minutes or something to pull the handle up. Now, it was well known that everyone fucking lied. What you did was you opened the door on the safe and you pulled the handle up without engaging the door so that you counteracted this thing. Because it was fucking bollocks. If you didn't do it, you got an instant disciplinary for not doing it.
Unless you were doing it to alert the authorities.
And then it didn't work like that. It was when they do an audit on the company, they would take a download from the safe door and it would say how many times you'd done it. Everyone did it every fucking day in every fucking petrol station in the whole country. But they all cheated and pulled the handle up and I never fucking did it.
The purpose of that functionality surely
was... Well, no, it was because you could be on a con and you might just leave the door open all the time. Because you were exchanging money with the till to keep your safe up. It was bollocks. There was no money missing. But I knew I was going to get this £20,000 there, and I knew I was going to get disciplinary for doing it. So I got a phone call from the auditor. Rang the company. The company gave me a phone call and they said, "You're going to have a disciplinary on Thursday, the 5th of November or whatever. So I woke up that morning, had a shower. There was no no windows in my office or air conditioning. There was a fucking massive cash machine, and it was hot as shit in there. So I hotboxed myself until the disciplinary, which was at midday, and locked 2 senior members of management in the office with me for an hour and a half to give me a disciplinary when I smelt like a tramp on purpose, and just to see what would happen. It was amazing.
What happened?
They got through it, but I just kind of just. Well, I knew I wasn't going to get anything from it. It was complete bollocks. But they were just going through it, and they were saying, "Did you leave the door open?" I said, "Yeah," because every fucking cunt in the company does. But you're not doing that. We're doing this ridiculous fucking pantomime of you telling me off for not stealing any money, because this has been proven by an outside company there is no money missing. But let's get on with it. But it takes so fucking long, and you could see them nearly hurling all the way through it, like because the smell was unbelievable.
Right.
So yeah, hotbox.
Nice. We got some in the group as well. Kevin Watts, I should have read these first, shouldn't I?
Yeah.
Kevin Watts, I got bollocking off my FD in work a few years ago.
Financial director, for anybody not understanding.
Slightly over budget on our food allowance in Chicago. We went to watch a Bulls game, then jumped on a bus and was dropped off outside the only place that was open at 11. Michael John's cheapest steak was $80.
I love that.
Yeah, going over budget. Although it feels like a good idea at the time, but when you're getting told off the next week,
everybody's done the expenses meal piss take. I've done it. I remember going to a bar. We went from an Indian to a bar, and my boss said, "All drinks at the bar are free." I don't know how an ambulance wasn't called. Like people were drinking stuff they would never have fucking drunk. Can I have a champagne? Just put vodka in it and cranberry juice, and then put a brandy in there, and they'll drink it. And it was ridiculous. Just because you think I don't care. We used to invite the security manager out from BP because he had a black American Express, a BP one, and we just pretend he was interested because he'd always get around. Just give a shit. Boring fuck.
Gary Dibley, I got bollocking for buying my wife a new Dyson for Christmas. Yeah,
that's bad.
Well, yeah, I think I deserved bollocking.
I think you could be clear with that if it was requested.
Everything in relationships, communication.
I bought my wife new running shoes for Christmas because that's exactly what she asked for, very specifically. And then I added some stocking fillers. I would not have bought anybody trainers.
David Charles, I once got in trouble with a manager for questioning their instructions on an issue. After a few minutes, they got very annoyed and said loudly, "Stop saying but. It's not a real word." Which is quite good because they've obviously got that management thing, no such word as can't or whatever, and they've
no such word as but.
Panicked and construed it wrong. I've got a couple. I don't know if I've actually done these on the show.
Go for it.
So tell me if I have.
Yeah.
Okay, so when I was about 6, I was left in my mum's car while she went in the co-op.
Normal behaviour back in the day.
Right. Yeah, so I was going to sit in the driver's seat, pretend to drive the car, which was parked on a slight slant, while she went in. I'm pretending to drive the car and stuff, having a great time, and I took the handbrake off. I didn't know what it did. I didn't even think I'd be able to do it, but when I pressed it, it just went straight down, great. And then the car just starts rolling forwards towards a Rolls Royce.
Oh, God.
So I'm going straight towards Rolls Royce. I turned it and hit a Fiesta instead.
Good
but I couldn't even reach the pedal. It's not like I had another thing, and I thought I was going to get the biggest telling off. Obviously my mum was gutted in that, and sorted it all out, but when my dad got home, I thought I was going to get the biggest telling off ever in the history of the world. I didn't get told off at all. He said it was my mum's fault for leaving me in the car. I got away scot-free.
That is good.
But I didn't. I don't know. I guess he's right. that I shouldn't have been left in the car, and I didn't mean to do it, but yeah.
You do get those ones in life where I was once taken to the police station for firing an air pistol. I was 14. Me and my friend had bought an air pistol, and we were firing it on some waste ground. Just this fucking air pistol. And we got taken to the police station, and my dad got called, and I thought, dead, definitely, dead.
Yeah,
dead. And my dad got there, and the police sergeant came out, and I thought my dad's just going to go, he's a cock, whatever you want to do it. Yeah. Arrest him, kill him. And my dad said, what's the charge? And he said, well, firing a air pistol within 120 yards of a public highway. And he went, right. Anything else? And they said, we were going to charge him with buying the air pistol. My dad said, but you found out that's not illegal. It's illegal to sell it. And he went, yeah. And my dad said, but he didn't. The person who sold it didn't actually sell it to him, did he? Because my son looked at me, paid the man in front of him to buy it, and then the man in front of him gave it to him as a gift. So he didn't break that law. And he went, no. And so my dad said, so what this is a 14-year-old got hold of an air pistol and shot it, which my dad said is the law of nature, is what happened.
Right.
He managed to get hold of it and shot it, because kids are idiots, and that's what they do. And he said, yeah, we're going to have a recorded interview. And so my dad looked at me, because I thought I'm dead. He went, don't say a word when we get inside that room. This is the stupidest thing in the world. Whatever he asked, just nod or shake your head. So for half an hour, the police officer had to say, for the tape, Mr. Martin has shook his head. For the tape, Mr. Martin has nodded his head. And he had to do it for half an hour. And we got out, and I'd had a growth spurt. So I was probably about the height I am now. And the police sergeant realised he was shorter than me. So to caution me, he came outside. He said, I'm going to caution you now under rules section of the... Then he realised he was shorter than me. So he stood on a box thing. Wow. And my dad went, fucking hell, you're a loser. And then that was where we got. And I got in the car, like, if he just concentrates on the fact that that man is a loser, I'll be fine.
Yeah. And he got away with it.
Yeah.
He was so annoyed with the copper.
He was so annoyed with the whole thing existing that it was just stupid. Kids are fucking idiots.
My only other memorable one was when I first got a proper job in a proper software company. And I was, at the time, I was a user interface designer. And so I was designing these user interfaces. And the company that I worked for at the time outsourced a lot of their stuff to China to be coded. So I would do the user interface and do the design, and then I would send it to China with instructions as to how this needed to be coded up.
Right.
We had this liaison working in the Chinese office called Frank.
Right.
And I thought he was an English person assigned to that office to be the go-between. But it was just a Chinese fella, like a lot do, that have given themselves a Western name for ease. And so I was using the rather lazy colloquial terms in describing how this thing worked.
Right.
How it was meant to work to Frank. And yeah, so I got told off. I was about 2 weeks into the job. I got told off by my manager because the Chinese office couldn't make head and tail of what I'd sent.
Right, boxes at the top, bits at the bottom.
Yeah,
nailed it. That's a really.
It was something like, look, basically this job says, easy, no probs, something like that. and yeah, because
bish bash bosh, send it back.
Yeah, and he was like, this guy, he's not Frank, he's this Chinese guy. He doesn't know bits and bobs and this and that and probs and prolly and yeah. And so I got told off for that. That was an eye opener.
I'm trying to work out. I was trying to work out how old I am. Someone's saying public, no firearm. It's a different. Yeah, I know it wasn't a firearm. I was too young. Pistol, you have to be 18 for some reason. And fuck knows. I got one more. He just gave me the thing a bit as well. Oh, it was a weird bollocking, which was a zero bollocking. I had a boss years ago everyone's had a boss who's a fucking idiot. I had a boss who was a fucking idiot. Nice guy, fucking idiot. Everybody knows how phone lines work. credit card machines used to work off broadband, same as they do now, and they normally work back in like 1999. There was about 3 meg broadband about that, which is fine. It copes. Debit credit cards just flicks through and goes really fast through. Anyway, the phone line failed. I think a truck hit the local phone line, and so I wasn't in the building. I was the assistant manager then. And when I walked in, the manager had been what I called Flintstoning it for 8 hours. So putting one of those, the old style, those things. You put the card in and you run the runners over it.
Right.
And then you write in how much it is and they sign it, which is fine. But you now need to get that slip to the bank, which is no problem if there's 4. Right?
Yeah.
But there was £65,000 worth of these fucking slips. So I walked in, saw their Flintstoning it, and said to the cashier, "How long have you been doing that for?" And he said 7 hours. So I walked outside and hit the fire switch and shut down the site. It's just fucking mental. And said, "No, forget this. Is nuts. People are going to start ringing people. There's this garage and they can't test credit cards. Bring your grands. She's dead. It doesn't matter. Like, because this fucking madness. I kill this. I kill it. Then we got this fucking issue because now we've got a stack of paper worth £60,000, which we can't do anything with it. We fucking won't do. You can't put it in the post. You can't get it to Royal Mail. You can't, because 60 grand. You can't just send 60 grand in the post. You can send fucking like 80 quid. You can't send 60 grand.
So is that I never had any sort of retail job in that era.
It had to get.
Is that how it worked? You had to literally post.
You had to post the
carbon
fucking
copied.
Yes, you have to post the slip, and it had to be punched in.
So you couldn't walk it to a bank.
No, you had to take it with us. You had to take it to head office. It had to be sent to head office. So I rang the regional manager at the time and I said, "We've got this problem where you got 60,000. We don't know how to do it." And he said, "Right, well, so what we're going to do is I'm going to commission a Securicall van. Right, it's going to cost £3,000. It's going to go from where I was in Suffolk to Milton Keynes, Whitgate, and then they're going to come in here and they're going to do that." And then he said, and I said, "Okay, all right, yeah, fine, that's fine. Okay, look into that. Give me a ring." About half an hour later, he rang me back and he said, "There's a guy who says he's your cashier. His name's Jeff." I'm going to make it up. "He's got a bag and it's full of all those receipts." And I said, "Yeah." And he said, "Why'd you do that?" And I said, "Nobody knew about it, did they? Just me and Jeff. And that was the safest way to do it. You didn't know. I didn't know. He didn't know that it was worth £70,000. And now you've got it. Are we done?" And he basically said, "You're fucking mental." And I went, "Yeah.
Again, but yeah.
See you later." I just thought the best way to do this is no one fucking knows what I've done, and there's fucking idiot. I always think that's the safest thing in the world. Some guy walks to the bank with £200,000 in his bag. He doesn't know he's got it in there. It's safer than Securicall. They don't even know it's there.
Yeah. Fair play. Right. So I've got a couple. Just a couple of new bits. Literally just a couple because Christmas and that. A lot of companies don't release much stuff.
Don't forget it's Chinese New Year coming up, everybody. So watch your dates and your calendars.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that's true. So a couple of things, and then we'll finish whatever news we've got left.
Yeah.
Okay. So, I like this. Well, so far I've done a teaser, but it's a teaser that does actually show you what they're getting at.
Ooh.
And the reason that I've put it on is this hit actually quite a while ago now, when the original Recurve RDA from Mike Vapes and Botofo dropped quite a while ago. It was quite popular in our group. It was particularly popular in our group. Originally, if you remember, it had like a U-shaped deck and then the holes were underneath, and everyone was like, "That won't work, that won't work, it's gold juice is all going to go flying out." But because you suck it back in, it did kind of work.
It did work, yeah.
And you had that undercoil flavour on an RDA, and it was kind of a thing. I think it was an accidental success.
Many others copied it as well afterwards. It was big. I really like the teaser, by the way.
I like teasers because you can actually see what they're teasing.
You can see what is enough of it without being a twat, and it's a picture, and it is a picture.
I think that's the perfect level of tease.
Yes.
New year, new.
It's a bit of side boob, is what we're getting.
Yes. Yeah, I love side boob. Yeah. So some members of our group might want to keep an eye on that because the first one was actually quite a success.
Yeah, and a decent price because it's Swatofo, so you're only talking like 25 quid or whatever.
Yeah, I don't know what it'll be technically as well. That's the other issue, because it had this purely for
it's going to be something.
Purposes,
it's going to be something.
It had a big bend in the barrel, like
sub-ohmy, isn't it? It's got. I can see heat fins on it, so it's going to be something. It looks like a carb, is what it looks like.
Yeah, the first one had sort of a bow in the barrel. So it was 24, but vaped like a 22 type thing.
Yeah.
Because it was reduced in the middle because it had this curve, just for the point of curve. But then they did a 24 cap for it or something, and that was straight, and so it lost that charm, but it was still fine. So I don't know what they will technically call this, so you'll have to keep an eye on that yourself. But it'll be like a V3 or something like that. I don't know. But yeah, Mike Vapes is, if it's a recurve and it's Watofo, Rufus Nest will Mike Vapes, but Mike Vapes, there'll be uproar if he's not in some way credited with that. I'm sure Mike will have been involved with that.
Yeah, I reckon.
Definitely. And it's one of them where, it's just reassuring that no matter how much design input he's had, he'll have tested it. And so, he'll have approved it, so it'll have that extra layer of credibility. So that's the thing. Also from Inikin, this slid past us. We were big fans for a long time and highly recommended the Endura.
Yes.
They now have a T18X version, which is newish, but it did slide past us, so it's a couple of months old. I've circled the features. They're good enough. Inikin are a great company in terms of the way they interact and things like that. And they've put on, rather than just doing a picture, they've said what it's got. It's compatible with 1.5 and 1.7 coils. So I don't know if they've done a version that wasn't or something. It's got easy top fill.
They did the last one
C,
wasn't compatible, was it?
With all of them, and there was one that was like pod inspired.
Yeah, pod inspired. The last thing they did, which was a bit.
Reading between the lines of the main features, they've basically gone back to.
They always should have, because it's the start, and
Yeah.
I actually like. Yeah. I like the colours as well.
Yeah,
I think they've done
really
well with that.
Really professional outfit. So I think
I was just looking at me in the camera, so I was like, I'm not going bald. No, I'm still fine.
No, you look well. So yeah, maybe back to where it was.
I'd love to see them. They deserve the beginners. They do. They just deserve it.
Yeah, they do. They're smart outfit. That'll be all right. The
I actually like the fact they haven't tucked it in. They did that. No, it was the Enduro is great, but that horrible nerdy shit was terrible.
Yeah,
I'm glad it's gone.
I agree. That could be a perfect little start vape.
I'll go with that. T80. It's nice.
Yeah, and then there was. Let me check. Oh, yep. And there was one more, and this is really hot off the press. This is the Maxus Max from Free Max, and basically it's one of these big tank jobs with a big screen mod. So if you're a big screen mod sub-tanky person, then and there hasn't been one of these for a while, you might want to have a peek at this. I'm showing beautiful Mike in this picture because for some reason, once again, Mike has shown a picture of it even before Freemax. He's done a video and everything. You can go and check it out. Yeah, so I say that like I'm being a bit derogatory. Like this big sub tank, big screen mod thing. I was genuinely in that phase for years. The simplicity and niceness of it is a thing. So if you still like your big mods with big screens and big sub tanks,
I think he's tightened that up. So it's not, even though, because I don't like centralities.
I mean, it's nothing. I don't know if it's anything to do with him as such.
He's
just been the first to review it, I think.
Yeah, I'm all right with that.
I'm all right with that as well. It'll be dual 18650 at least.
Excuse me. There's a lot. I get asked for them.
Cloudy sub tank. I don't mind it, me.
I get asked a lot for the dual 18650 and 22700. Because people want something that's going to last all day. I want it all day.
Yeah, You don't need the screen, but sometimes it's just a thing, isn't it? And if
I did a Mario double jump
I was
hiccup there. It's really weird.
You stifled it quite well. Yeah, so I'm all cool with that. That's the thing. And again, literally, Mike seems to have the exclusive on this one, so I don't think he's involved at all. But he has done a video, so if you're still loving your sub tanks, I totally understand that. So I like my sub tanks.
Scotty Bugfoot says free max Maxus Max sounds stupid. I agree.
Free max Maxus Max. It's wait till they do the max version of the Maxus Max.
Yeah, the max free max Maxus Max. That's what I'm waiting for. I don't want it otherwise.
Yeah. Or how cool would it be if they did a free Maxus Max?
Or what if they did a mini max free
Just
max
like a
Max
giveaway.
Max, or a micro mini free max Maxus Max?
When you're trying to come up with a new name, for Max,
Russell Blair
don't
saying
stare at your own logo.
Russell Blair saying Novak's going home.
I
I think that's what he's saying.
Well,
Yeah,
they have to be.
they did.
I'm not being funny, but they have to be consistent on this.
Australia. Oh, it's going blurry. Oh, there you go. Australia cancels the visa. It's going home.
They didn't have a choice.
Nah, you're getting fucking fucked. It's mental.
I'm not being funny, but like, a way bigger deal in Australia is the Ashes, the cricket.
Mhm.
And they've forced like the England squad, the Australian squad to follow every rule to the letter. They couldn't just turn around to a random tennis player, which they're not even that bothered about. I know, yeah, that's fine.
Yeah, good. He's going home. I honestly, I am bored shitless of these fucking idiots as well.
And unless it's been misreported, it comes across as incredible arrogance to think that he somehow.
I think it's the shit.
Unless he just wanted to not be that guy, he wanted to pass the blame to Australia.
Yeah,
they're the reason I'm not playing. I'm not the reason. Although, if you've got a brain in your head, you know that he is the reason.
His sponsors will be fucking. I mean, you imagine will be fucking furious as well. They'll be really fucking angry. That's
why they get him on long-term things, so it evens out.
Yeah.
Right, final bits of news. Actual vaping news, John.
Last thing, quickly, I just want to say that if you type in FK Bojo 2022, you get 22% off at justadnick.org.uk. The reason I can't put that in the chat properly is because I'll get botted.
BOJO.
BOJO, yeah. FK BOJO 2022, and you get 22% off. Oh, Gareth Martin says he said it an hour ago. No one knows. Sorry about about Novak. Sorry about that.
2022.
Yes. Yeah. FK Bojo 2022, all lowercase, and you get 22% off. I can only really hold that till midnight because it's 22% off, and I'm going to be going through the side effects from the drugs I'm on, the side effect from the booster, and we're going to see how long I survive tomorrow. More fun. But just do that, but all lowercase. Yeah, I get knighted for that. I don't know why. So China is in the news. Yep. China have drafted a bill that is considering a ban on flavours.
Right, you're going to have to do this one solo for a sec.
Okay, a draft bill recently released for public comment would forbid the selling of flavoured e-cigarettes such as marijuana flavour and other flavours that can easily induce minors. You know what kids are like? They like Coke, ice cream flavour, raspberry and marijuana flavour. The public is still in time to voice their opinion about proposed regulations as the period for public comments on the draft regulation will end on January the 29th. I'm not really sure. I think the effect on this is going to be a lot larger than people think it is if it goes through, because it takes out a lot of liquids that are made in China if it follows the same rules as the US. So whether it's a concentrate or a short fill or whatever, it won't be coming out of China. Among other restrictions, the draft bill also proposes a list of 122 flavours that regulators could consider banning, including numerous fruit and alcohol flavours. The state's Tobacco Monopoly Administration draft rules amend the country's tobacco monopoly, extending it to e-cigarettes. Moreover, as per the draft, local businesses must register with the Tobacco Authority and local manufacturers must obtain an additional license to prove they are in possession of sufficient funds for production and for a facility and equipment that meet set standards. So we kind of talked about this recently. I was just talking. So China want to add. There's a draft bill adds 122 flavors to a banned list. It includes lots of different flavors, and also that
In China,
yeah, and also
they're going to add to that list.
they've got
That's quite good.
122 flavors. That's basically everything. A lot of people don't realise that the flavour they like is made in China.
Yeah. Will it affect the actual flavourings though?
Yeah, because you won't be able to get them out. Because if
Oh,
if
right.
they looks like they're following carbon copy of America, where a flavour or flavouring for vaping counts as nicotine. I won't tell you there is a way round it, but I'm not dumb enough to say it on a social media platform. There is a way round it.
Yeah, that's tricky. It's tricky. It'd be
You can do
interesting to
it.
see. It'd be interesting to see what sort of advocacy they have over there for this sort of stuff.
It's really odd because Malaysia has just kind of opened themselves up to do it properly. Gary Murphy's saying all the cool people got a booster this week. Knew it, mate. I knew it. I could feel it.
You're quite late though.
It's because I got offered it on the 25th of December, as in Christmas.
Was that legit though?
Yeah.
You said yes to that.
Yeah, and I said no. Yeah, some poor bastards were giving out COVID vaccines on the 25th of
Good on them.
December. Yeah, I didn't do it.
What's the last news story?
Oh, I can do that. I don't know if you wanted it. Okay, right. This was the thing that I saw because I did it on the group a couple of weeks ago. No, while we were on like a Christmas break. And it was called "Could Vaping Help Smokers Quit Even When They Aren't Trying to?" And that's what I fucked the story. I don't really care. But I'd asked in the group whether people had accidentally quit, because I accidentally quit smoking. I didn't mean to. I just got a vaping thing, so I didn't have to keep going outside in the fucking cold. And I stopped smoking. And I wondered if people had quite a few people had actually said the same, because they didn't buy it to stop. It just stopped them because it was better.
Yeah, I was the opposite. I was
Dual fuel it.
I was very deliberately trying to stop.
Oh, okay. As I think we're going to go. I think that's 28 minutes.
Yeah.
An hour and 28 minutes, I think, is sufficiently fine. But get over to www.justaddict.org.uk and use the code FKBOJO 2022 and you get 22% off.
I've put it in chat.
Yeah, I saw that. There you go. I didn't want to quit. I just wanted to cut back, says Scotty Bogfoot.
It's funny, isn't it? Yeah, and I've heard people say like, because back in the day there was a big push about it's cheaper.
Yeah, wasn't
And
that? I just didn't want to
A lot
die.
of people used to say. I know a lot of people have said if they thought, oh well, I'll just do it at work or I'll just do it in the car, and then I'll save a few quid, and it sort of increased. Actually, it's all right. I could save even more if I did it at work and in the car. Except, and
I certainly saved a lot of money to begin with. Right, let's go. So
I didn't. I spent a fortune.
I can have a piss. Good night, world.
Thank you very much for watching. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
Smash the like button.
Have a great 2022.
If you're watching on catch up, we still like you.
Yeah.
We still respect it. Respect what you're doing. Thank you for watching on catch up. If you couldn't make it, and we'll see you again soon. Bye. Bye.
Right, I'll go for a piss. I'll send that text message.